Last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars won their division, and they won a playoff game, but it didn't look easy. They needed a very stressful last-minute win. They won by 4 points, I believe 20-16 against Tennessee, Week 18. They had, the Titans had Josh Dobbs at quarterback, a backup quarterback. They barely won their division, like by a little thin margin. Jacksonville did not make that look easy. Then in their playoff game, they were down 27-0. They came back and won, but it's like, man, this team just could not make it look easy at all last year. And I want to ask, what does it look like for the Jaguars to build off of last year? I would argue, even if this year has the same result as last year, they win their division, they go to a playoff game, maybe they win a playoff game. If they can do the same thing they did last year, but make it look less ugly, make it maybe a bit easier, less of a feeling like they're just barely making it happen, but they do it in a more dominating way, or they do it more, how do I even say this? Just without this last minute crazy stuff. They're like, oh, they got that, but barely. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see Jacksonville. We heard Trevor Lawrence talk about this. He said, this is the new standard. Is it? Is Jacksonville going to be a perennial playoff team for years to come? We'll find out. I love the Jaguars coaching quarterback. That's a big deal. They've got Doug Peterson at coach. Quarterback is Trevor Lawrence. They've got the two hardest things to find in the NFL, the coach and quarterback. They've got that right, and that's a big deal. That is going to take them a long way. Now, it's a young football team. They've got a lot of potential in Jacksonville, but these guys just got to keep developing. They've got linebacker Josh Allen, he's 26. Linebacker Devin Lloyd, he's 24. Safety Andre Sisco's 23. Corner Tyson Campbell, he's 23. The left tackle Walker Little, he's 24. I mean, this is a young football team. Now, you have to acknowledge that their normal left tackle, Cam Robinson, he's suspended for the first 4 games of the year. That means Walker Little's going to play left tackle. And then that also means that rookie first-round pick Anton Harrison is going to be a Week 1 starter at right tackle. Don't love that. He's going to be thrown into the fire early. However, I do think that if Jacksonville's, if Anton Harrison, their rookie right tackle, struggles early on, in the first 4 games, they're playing Indy, Kansas City, Houston, and Atlanta. They could finish that stretch of games 3-1 in Jacksonville. And thankfully, they don't play Pittsburgh or the 49ers or Cleveland early in the year. So I think they can survive losing Cam Robinson for the first 4 games of the year. Now, this offseason, they added their offensive tackle, Juwan Taylor, went to Kansas City. That's a big loss. Their edge defender, Arden Key, went to Tennessee. Don't love that. That's not awesome. I almost said they added Juwan Taylor. No, Juwan Taylor left, and that's not great. It's going to really help Kansas City. It's not going to help Jacksonville. They are going to get receiver Calvin Ridley back. He was suspended all of last year for gambling. I think Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley is going to be a really, really fun dynamic duo to watch play together. They've got some awesome weapons for Trevor Lawrence to throw to. He's got Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, plus a tight end, Evan Ingram. I love that. I love what they got going on as far as offensive weapons for him to throw to in Jacksonville. Now, the bad news, on top of having Cam Robinson missing, they lost Juwan Taylor. Ben Bartch is hurt, and so he's got a knee injury. He's on the IR. That's scary for their offensive line. I think that, I'm not going to lie to you, I think the biggest question in Jacksonville is their offensive line. Now, thankfully, their division isn't very good. Houston, Indy, Tennessee, there's a lot of questionable rosters I just named, but I think the offensive line could be a problem when they're playing better football teams like the 49ers, like Cleveland, like Cincinnati, where, especially the Cleveland, the 49ers, those kind of teams. I mean, Pittsburgh, TJ Watt. So the offensive line concerns me in Jacksonville. I know they've got this awesome receiver. It's going to be flashy. They got talent everywhere. But Trevor Lawrence needs a good offensive line, and I am not real confident in them. Now, last year's number 1 overall pick, Travon Walker, needs to play at a higher level. He had 3.5 sacks last year in only 15 games. He missed 2 games last year. I want to see more from Travon Walker, though. Last year, he was young. He was raw. I can excuse it. They sold him. They drafted Travon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson, who was drafted number 2 overall by Detroit. And the way they sold that was, well, he's physically a more gifted athlete. However, Aiden Hutchinson had 9.5 sacks and looked really good last year. Travon Walker didn't look that great, and we're kind of waiting to see. Is he going to be a bust? I don't know, but if he's not, he's got to get going this year. I'm hoping that works out. That's a young player they got to hit on. ultimately, I apologize in advance. I actually have the Jaguars going 7-10 this year. I think they're a team that's going to win their division. I know that's crazy. I think it speaks to how bad their division is going to be this year. And that could be too low. 7 wins feels really low. I don't feel great about that. But when you look around the AFC, there's only so many wins to go around. And the AFC is absolutely loaded with really good football teams. I think Cleveland's going to be really good. Baltimore's better. Cincinnati's good. The Jets are better. I mean, the AFC is loaded with the most talented teams in football. I think that the Jaguars are a team that, if they were in the NFC, might fare a little bit better, but they're probably going to be the team in the playoffs with the worst record. I feel strongly that no matter what happens with the Jaguars' record, they are going to win their division. They're going to win that division. I feel really strongly about that. Their offensive line concerns me. No Ben Barch. Cam Robinson's out for 4 games. There's a lot of unproven guys in Jacksonville. I like the Jaguars, though. I worry that predicting them to go 7-10 makes me sound like a hater. I don't believe in them. No. Love their coach. Love their quarterback. Love their young players. It's because they've got just teams around them everywhere that are really, really great. And I think this year is all about building and developing towards next year for Jacksonville. They're young. They're growing. I think in the next couple of years, while Trevor Lawrence is on a rookie contract in particular, we're going to see a moment where the Jaguars could enter a playoff window, a Super Bowl window, and be a team that is a Super Bowl contender. But they're not there yet. And part of why I have the Jaguars going 7-10, again, it's out of reverence and respect for how good all the other teams in the AFC are. And the Jaguars were a playoff team last year. They got a tough schedule. I think they win their division. I don't think that, I know it sounds crazy. They might win fewer games than last year, but I think they might be a better team this year. It's just that the teams around them are so much better. I mean, adding Aaron Rodgers, adding a great receiving core for Lamar Jackson, adding all these teams in the AFC, I think the AFC got beefier. The Jaguars are a little bit better with a tough schedule, and I have them going 7-10, winning their division, though, and a team that I think they're going to lose a lot of games that are close and really tough. And a 7-10 Jaguars team that wins their division still could win a playoff game. I don't know why you couldn't see a Jaguars team eke out a win the way they did over the Chargers last year. I get it comes down to, really honestly, there's just only so many wins to go around. The AFC is incredibly loaded, and I think that they are in the worst division in football, probably the AFC South. The Jaguars are going to go 7-10, but win their division.